like to call the Rockingham County Board of Elections regular meeting to order for June 20th, 2023, 10 o'clock a.m. at the Rockingham County Governmental Center, 371 North Carolina 65, Reidsville, North Carolina. I would like to welcome our board members today and those of you who chose to visit with us in your presence in the Commissioner's Chamber. And I'd also like to welcome those who chose to visit with us in the comfort of your home. Welcome. Would you stand, please, as Paula Singster leads our Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As we observe our moment of silence, be in tune to things around us and be in tune to what we as a board have to do. And now our moment of silence. Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose signify by saying nay. The motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the May 16th, 2023 regular meeting?
Madam Chair, I move that we accept it as presented.
Second. It has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose signify by saying nay. The motion carries. We have two individuals who have sent in emails for our public comments. So at this time, we open our public comment. And by email, I think they sent those to Paula.
The first one we have is from Lisa Harris, Short Avenue in Madison. And it says, "My name is Lisa Harris, and I want to say thank you for an opportunity to share two very important items with you today. Unfortunately, in the middle of the day, I have to work. However, I appreciate being able to communicate with each of you. First, as a governing body, I ask each of you to please continue to educate the voters on legislative changes. All voters stand to lose if Senate Bill SB 747 becomes law. As our local Board of Elections, I am asking each of you to please advocate against Senate Bill 747 for the voters of Rockingham County and North Carolina. It allows less time for voters to return their mail ballot, which could lead to thousands of ballots being thrown out. SB 747 also complicates the state's same-day registration for hundreds of thousands of North Carolina voters, forcing them to vote by provisional ballot. That would create another administrative barrier to voting. The bill further burdens local election officials with unneeded changes and limits resources to run safe and secure elections. What does North Carolina need? Preserve same-day registration, provide more funding to our election system, and allow all eligible mail-in ballots to cast, rather than punish voters for circumstances outside of their control. Second, I want to say thank you to all the Board of Elections staff who took time to come out in the Juneteenth community to events and share valuable voter education and provide an opportunity for community members to complete and update voter registration. Please continue to support the staff and volunteers who spend time there on the ground in the community. It is so very valuable. Again, thanks for all of you. Thanks for all each of you do to save our voting democracy. Ms. Lisa Harris.
Thank you, Lisa Harris.
And the second one is from Jerry Lowe, 311 West Moorhead Street in Reedsville. And it says, "Dear Board of Elections, please accept my correspondence as public comments. I would like to express how much I appreciate having the Board of Elections staff in our community at community events like Juneteenth in downtown Reedsville on a Saturday. With my work and college schedule, being able to register to vote on a Saturday was great. Please continue to advocate for funding to increase voter education in our county directly in our communities. Please consider providing communicating to faith-based communities and nonpartisan organizations free brochures and information updates for all updates provided by state. The Board of Elections must continue to step out of the box and reach all demographics by using multiple outlets that include all ages." And that's all I have.
Thank you, Jerry Lowe. So this concludes our public comments part of our agenda for today, and now we close public comments. Next on the agenda is the director's update. Paula?
Okay, first of all, the municipal elections, it is coming. It's almost here. But candidate filing for municipal elections will begin on Friday, July the 7th at 12 o'clock p.m., which is noon, and end on Friday, July the 21st at 12 o'clock p.m. noon. The following offices will be on the ballot for the municipal elections. For the City of Eden, we'll have Ward 1, 2, 6, and 7 council seats. We'll have the Town of Madison, the mayor's seat, and 3 alderman seats. The Town of Mayodan, the mayor's seat, and 3 council seats. The City of Reedsville, 2 council seats for District A, and 2 council seats for District B. The Town of Stoneville, the mayor's seat, 3 council seats, and the Town of Wentworth, 3 council seats. And these dates have all been put on our website. I'll be sending out a reminder this week through our Sunshine List and putting it on Facebook, reminding them about the candidate filing that will be coming up, and all the other dates that will be coming up. Like I said, they're on the calendar, but we'll be reminding those as they get closer. So are there any questions on the municipal elections part? Okay. So moving on to events and speaking engagements. On Saturday, May the 20th, the Board of Elections had a tent set up at the Stoneville May Day Festival in Stoneville. We had precinct officials Melanie Harrington and Ruth Ann Goings representing the Board of Elections at this event. We did not receive any registrations or precinct official applications, but it was still a good day. On Monday, May the 22nd, I had the privilege of speaking at the Reedsville Rotary Club meeting at Monterey's, and Secretary Schofield was also in attendance at that meeting. It was a good crowd. I thought the meeting went real well, and they were very receptive, so I appreciate that opportunity to be able to speak. Did you want to add anything to that?
I would. Fellow board members, Paula did a really great job explaining what she was doing, what she was there for, and soliciting their help. You know, every one of them have contacts, and we're trying to get the information out, and we're asking them to help us. We also encourage them to become members of our Sunshine List and keep each other up to date on things changing, especially since there are activities in the General Assembly that's going on that can and will affect voting. So I thought it was a wonderful meeting, and I thought Paula did extremely well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for attending the meeting.
All right.
But also add, if I can interrupt just a second.
Yes.
I also got a lot of feedback from our voter registration efforts, or having the representative there at the RCC job fair. That seemed to be really well, and I don't think we've ever done anything like that before, so that was a wonderful move, I thought. And we did have some new registrations.
We did.
Speaking of registrations, Paula, could you just speak to when those forms need to be turned in, if you have a deadline? I read someplace that they need to be turned in as soon as possible.
It is soon as possible, because what we have to do, when we get those registrations in, we have to backdate them. And some of the registrations, we like to get them at least within 5 days, is what we would like. But the sooner the better. We've had some registrations come in a month or two after the event. That's just a little bit late. And plus, you also are running the risk of losing that registration. And there's information on there that a lot of people would not want shared out with the public. So the sooner we can get it in, the better. And like I said, we like to have them at least within 5 days. That way we can get them in the system, get them approved, and get their voter registration cards sent out to them fairly quickly. Because we've had some individuals to call us and say, I haven't received my registration card, and we don't have them in the system. So,
Thank you.
okay. Well, then on Wednesday, May the 24th, the Board of Elections held an election expo at the Rockingham County Board of Elections office. I thought it was a very good event. I lost count of the people that were coming in, but we did have a bus that came from the City of Reidsville Senior Center. So we were tickled to see those individuals come in. We did have stations set up where they could go around the office and ask as many questions as they wanted to. They could actually test the new Express Vote machine and get used to that. And I heard a lot of laughter, and I had a couple of people come by and wanted to speak to me specifically and said they had learned a lot just by attending that event and wanted to know if we were going to do it again. And I said, yes, we would be doing it again. We're still trying to schedule when we can do that. We do plan to do it in the evening, maybe from like 5 to 7 or 7:30, so that the ones that work during the day will be able to attend. But hopefully we'll be getting that information out as soon as we can. On Saturday, June the 10th, the Board of Elections had a tent set up at the Juneteenth celebration at Market Square in Reidsville. Precinct officials John Harris and Frank Wilson represented the Board of Elections at this event. We did get 6 registrations received and an interest by one individual of being a precinct official. And on those applications that we received, those 6, 4 of those were also, they had checked the box that they were interested, so we sent some information out to them as well. So anytime you're filling out the voter registration, at the very bottom of the voter registration, there is a spot if you are interested in being, it says poll worker. I like the word precinct official. But if they check that box, we're trying to send out a letter to them with the precinct official application and what the next step is, which is we usually try to do an orientation to let the individuals know what's expected of them and what an election day could look like. So we are trying to make sure that they get those. And then the last thing I have is an event that is coming up on Thursday, July the 27th at 6:00 p.m. I have been asked to speak at the Republican Women's Group at the Republican headquarters in Reidsville. So finally, people are asking us to come and speak, so I'm very excited about that. But are there any questions about any of these events or speaking engagements?
I have a question, but I would like to say I really appreciate the idea that we are trying to get information out to our community, and we appreciate the two individuals from the board, board member Schoolfield and Hampton, for their initiative in helping us to brainstorm and get things done so that the public will be more aware of what's going on in the state, from the State Board of Elections and what we're doing. Any other comments from any other board members?
I would like to just make one additional comment. I know it's been a busy weekend for many of us. Some of us didn't get to go to Alaska, but there are some really good videos on the website that Paula has put together, and I especially thank Marilyn Watkin. Is it Marilyn?
Marilyn Watkins, yes.
She did an outstanding job on early voting, not early voting, but on
Absentee.
mail-in ballots. But all of them were good, and I really thank Paula for really taking the ball and running with it and getting those videos made and all the work that she did with several different groups. And I mentioned this for our people who are watching. Please go to the website and check it out. It's good information to have, and we do ask your additional help in reaching to the people that you have contact with. We need that. Thank you.
Okay, and I want to remind the board members and the public of Senate Bill 749 and Senate Bill 747. If you need more information about it, just go to the website and the State Board website, and you can find out more information about it. Okay, so if everything is in order, I'm ready to ask for an adjournment.
How about State Board of Election appointments?
Okay. Do you want me to continue?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
That's all right,
I
that's
was
all right.
thinking-
Hey, I know.
Yeah.
I'm going to just say, I was going to touch on videos in the podcast real quick. We do have those videos posted on the Board of Elections website under voter information. And for some reason, you have to scroll down to the bottom of the page, but the videos are there. And I would like to thank the precinct officials that participated in those videos, but I would also like to thank Roy Sawyers for the great job he did in recording those videos and editing those videos. He just has an eye that is absolutely amazing. Things that you just don't think about, he does. So I can't say enough about him. I mean, the work he does is just phenomenal, and I really appreciate that.
Paula, I think it's commendable that we are involving the precinct officials in these videos and different events that they are involved in promoting election rules and laws and, getting the knowledge out there to the public.
Well, they know it. I mean, they know the different areas, and all of them are they're amazing people. Our precinct officials are just top-notch, and very proud of all of them. So, but thank you. Fiscal year budget 2023-2024 passed at the Board of Commissioners meeting on June the 5th, and in your packet, you should have a copy of that. And then the last thing, the State Board of Election appointments for the county board of election seats, that will take place next Tuesday, June the 27th. I don't know the time of the meeting, but as soon as I find that out, I'll be sending it out to you. So, and like Chair Wright said, I've given you copies of the last version of the Senate Bill 747 and 749. So, but that's all I have.
Board members, do you have any questions concerning the at-your-seat budget? She did say that it passed, and so if you have any questions about it, this is the time to ask her.
Were there any additional changes other than those that we had previously discussed?
No, ma'am. Everything, at the last meeting, the only thing was the elections. You were not at the last meeting. Not the election, the utilities, the 5,200 is what they put on there. And there was no change. Everything stayed the same, and that's why I wanted to make sure y'all had the copy of the finalized budget.
That's for the whole building?
That's just for our portion,
For our
which is
part of
about
the
30 to
building.
35%
Okay.
of the utility expenses.
We're not responsible for the other side, the
That is
business
correct.
part.
That is correct.
And if it runs over what we have budgeted and what we have, has anything been discussed?
We'll address that as it gets closer.
Okay.
Hopefully, it will not, but again, y'all have your July and August calendars. So again, I'll try to keep those at every meeting, staying a couple of meetings ahead, and making changes as things are added to those.
Madam Chair, I'd like to ask Paula a question relative to Senate Bill 747. It looks like there's some real tight schedules. Have you been through the whole bill to see what's taking place?
I have not. I've listened to the hearings because they've made several amendments, text amendments to these. But it's mainly pertaining to the one-stop early voting schedule, shortening that time, reducing the time for the ballots to be mailed in. It's several things. That's why, and they're still making adjustments. It did pass the Senate, and it is moving on to the House right now. But
It was
there's,
reduced, this reduces the time from, 17 days to 14 days?
well, I think it's 15 days to about 7 or 8 days. Yes, sir.
Okay.
There's also an amendment to that as well. So there's several bills that are out there on that one.
And as we noticed, this one was adopted on the 15th of June, which wasn't, not long ago.
No, it was just last week.
So we see that the changes are being made, even for both of them, adopted the 15th of June. Any other discussion?
So what you're saying is that this, as a result of the Senate's redistricting election committee, has adopted it, but the House has not adopted it at this point in time.
That is correct. It's still a bill. It is not a law. It's passed the Senate, but it's got to go to the House next.
Okay.
And then possibly to committee?
Well, this is the committee that is the Redistricting and Elections Committee is the one that
That's for
actually,
the Senate.
yes, that's in the Senate. So now it will go on to the House.
From my experience, I'll share with you that it will go to the House. The Speaker will assign it to at the House, their redistricting and election committee for tweaking, and they always have to show a little bit of what they want. They want some input in it. So you'll see some minor changes somewhere along the way, more than likely.
And then the two have to be resolved.
Well, then they appoint a committee to resolve the differences. And that's when the big boys play.
And you can also watch these committee meetings online. They do have them live, and that's where I've been watching them is online. So I'll try to let you know when they'll be shown or when they're in hearings.
There are no other questions, and we're at that point where I was running to earlier. I asked for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And a second?
Madam Chair, I second that motion.
It has been motioned and properly second that we adjourn. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose signify by saying nay. The motion carries. We have adjourned at 10:24.